God's love is vast.
It reaches into every corner of our hearts. Many people try hard to please Him by following rules. They believe that if they do enough good, He will accept them. Yet the Christian life is not about how well we perform. It is about who is alive within us. We can strive, but our striving often leads us to disappointment. We may try to avoid certain sins. We may try to serve more in church. We may attempt to be kinder or more patient. But deep down, we still fail to reach the standard of divine holiness. We fail because the true calling of God is not about fixing our behavior from the outside. It is about receiving a new life that transforms us from within. The rules by themselves cannot save us. They only show us that our own strength is limited. This revelation is not meant to condemn us. It is meant to free us into a new life where God Himself works in us. Imagine a child given a set of instructions that are too advanced. The child struggles, tries, and finally realizes they are unable to succeed on their own. That moment of realization is crucial. It brings an end to self-dependence. This is how it often is with us and God's commands. We read that we should love our enemies. We read that we should forgive, even when it hurts. We read that we should place God above every desire. Those are not small requests. They are immense. We can feel powerless. Yet God uses these very commands to help us see our own inability. He is not surprised by our weakness. He already knows our limits. But we seldom know them ourselves until we stumble. When we do, we finally cry out, "Lord, I can't do this on my own. Help me." That cry is the gateway to a deeper experience of faith. In that humble moment, Christ becomes more than a teacher. He becomes our life. You may have tried to change yourself before. Perhaps you decided to stop losing your temper, or you promised never again to speak harshly to those you love. But soon enough, old patterns returned. You tried greater willpower. You prayed for more patience. You might have even studied new techniques or read more books on self-control. Still, victory seemed fleeting. This cycle of trying, failing, and trying again can feel hopeless. But the truth is that genuine transformation does not depend on our own grit. It depends on letting Christ's life in us take the lead. He alone fulfills what God requires. He alone loves perfectly and forgives completely. When we see this, our focus shifts from our attempts to His ability. Then obedience is no longer a chore. It becomes a joyful outcome of His life flowing through us. We do not boast in our own strength. We boast in Him, for He is the one accomplishing the work from the inside out. In Christ, we are given a new identity. We become children of the living God. That means we do not face life's challenges alone. Yet many believers forget this and still try to manage on their own. They see God's truth as lofty ideals that they must somehow climb toward. But the beauty of the Christian life is that it starts with Christ's finished work, not our unfinished efforts. He died to remove our guilt. He rose again to give us new life. When we receive Him, that new life is ours now, not just a future promise. The key is faith. It means trusting that what God says about us is true. If He says we are new creations, then we are. If He says He lives in us, then He does. If He says all things are possible with Him, then we stand on that word. Even in our struggles, we stand in faith. This faith is more than mental agreement. It is a heartfelt surrender that allows God to be the source of our power. Many of us try to bargain with God. We ask Him for help, but we still hold on to the idea that we can contribute something essential to our salvation.
We promise to be better.
We vow to serve more. We assure Him that we will never fall again if He just fixes our current crisis. Yet these promises often crumble when real pressure comes. God is not asking us to prove ourselves worthy. He already knows we need His strength every moment. He wants us to receive His grace and stand secure in Christ. That is where real rest is found. When we stand in this grace, we see that our limitations do not hinder God's power. In fact, our limitations become the very place where God shows Himself strong. When we come to the end of ourselves, we discover that God's supply has no end. He is ready to live through us if we let Him take over. That is the secret of the Christian walk. Think of a lamp in a dark room. The lamp alone cannot produce light. It can only shine when it is connected to the electricity that supplies power. Without that connection, it remains dark and useless. We are like that lamp. Our source is Christ. He shines through us when we are connected to Him by faith. The minute we think we can shine by ourselves, we end up in dimness. But when we humble ourselves and say, "Lord, shine through me," a radiant light emerges. His Spirit dwells in us, not as a guest but as the rightful owner of our hearts. That indwelling presence changes how we respond to challenges. We do not have to struggle to be loving or forgiving. We simply yield to the one who is love. Then love flows out naturally. It is not forced or contrived. It is a spontaneous expression of the life within us. That is why Christ's yoke is easy and His burden is light. He carries the load for us. Sometimes we hesitate because we fear letting go of control. We wonder what God might do in our lives if we truly surrender. Will He ask us to do things that seem impossible? Will He lead us into trials we do not think we can handle? Yet the one we trust is infinitely wise and loving. He does not seek to destroy us. He seeks to free us from our bondage to self. Our illusions of control do not lead to joy or peace. Instead, they weigh us down with anxiety. When we open our hearts to God's ways, we find that His plans are far better than ours. His Spirit empowers us to do what we never imagined possible. He may call us to forgive someone who hurt us deeply. He may open our eyes to serve in places we never thought we could. Yet in every step, He also supplies all that we need. That is not a life of burden. It is a life of victory and freedom. Our faith is never about manipulating God into giving us what we want. True faith rests on the reality that God has already accomplished His work. Our redemption is a fact. Our acceptance in Christ is a fact. Our death with Him and our rising to new life in Him is also a fact. We do not wait for Him to make it true. He has already done it. So we stand on what God has said and done. That is faith. Many people confuse hope with faith. They say, "I hope I will be free one day.
I hope I will overcome my sin soon.
But genuine faith says, "In Christ, I am free now.
I am more than a conqueror through the one who lives in me."
That is not arrogance. It is reliance on God's truth. It is affirming what the Lord has spoken.
When we declare it and walk in it, we see God's promises manifest.
We move from powerless striving to powerful resting. If you feel your faith is weak, remember faith is not about how strongly you can believe in your own belief. It is about the one you are believing in. Even a small seed of faith can move mountains because the power is in the Lord, not in your personal willpower. Take a moment and remind yourself that God placed His Spirit in you the moment you received Christ. That Spirit is not timid. That Spirit is not frail. That Spirit is life and victory. Begin each day by acknowledging His presence. Say to Him, "Lord, thank you for living in me. Thank you for your strength. Thank you that I am complete in Christ." Do not wait until you feel strong. Do not check whether your emotions approve. Faith is not determined by moods. It is anchored in truth. God's power is always available, and His word is unwavering. Rely on that truth. Let that truth shape your actions. You will see transformation that cannot be explained by human effort. Today, let your heart settle on this profound reality. God did not save you so you could keep fighting alone. He saved you so His own life could fill you. He sees your weaknesses, yet He embraces you in grace. He knows every failure, yet He calls you beloved. He allows you to see your shortcomings so you will rest in His abundance. He sent His Son so that, in Christ, you may taste real victory over sin, worry, pride, and every burden. This is not a promise for later, but for right now, by faith. Believe that He has made you new. Believe that He is working in you. Believe that the same power that raised Christ from the dead is at work in your spirit. Then walk forward, trusting that God is sufficient for every challenge. You are no longer defined by what you cannot do. You are defined by what He has done in you. Rejoice in this reality. Live boldly under His grace. You stand complete and victorious in Him. All praise be to the one who lives in us and makes us able. Amen.